I'm now going to take everyone over to the east, over to the continent of North America, and talk about the so-called Galapagos of Mexico, the Baja Peninsula. So, excuse me, just trying to get my, there we go. So yeah, we've been running our cruises down the coast of Baja for I think 15, 20 years now. And the Baja Peninsula itself is that long, thin peninsula that juts south from San Diego. It goes south by about 800 kilometers or so. And it's a very rich area with wildlife, wonderful scenery as well. But in particular, it's famed for its cetaceans, for its whales and dolphins. And a cruise down the Baja Peninsula and around into the Sea of Cortez has to be one of the very best whale watching cruises anywhere in the world. So we run our Baja cruises in February and March time. Sadly, because of the pandemic, of course, we haven't operated for a couple of years. The last one we did was in March, February, 2020, just before the pandemic hit. I'm delighted that we've got our next cruise going out in less than 2 weeks now, on the 21st of February. Our first of our Baja cruises for a couple of years is heading out, and they're flying out, as this map shows, down to San Diego on the west coast of America, down in Southern California. And from there, we hop on the boat, and I shall show you the boat in a moment, and we head south, cruising along the west coast of the Baja Peninsula, down to Cabo San Lucas, right at the southern tip of the peninsula, and then round into the Sea of Cortez. And this is an 11-night cruise starting in San Diego and then cruising south down the west coast of the peninsula. We stop in at San Ignacio Lagoon for the grey whales, Todos Santos and San Benito Island for a bit of hiking and some desert bird life, and then round into the Sea of Cortez itself, finishing in Cabo San Lucas, right on that southern tip of Baja, with a flight back to San Diego and home. And this is the vessel that we've been using for many years now, the Searcher. Very comfortable ship, takes 25 people in total. We charter the whole ship for our voyages and send a Naturetrek tour leader along to join the local guide on board and the captain. As with the Cachalote Explorer, she's quite a simple ship, small cabins, but we use this ship because the crew are extremely experienced. They've been round and round Baja more times than we've had hot dinners, and know the region, know the wildlife, and do an exceptional wildlife cruise. So has a variety. They have a variety of cabins. Most of the cabins are on the lower deck. Some have 2 beds, some have 3, some have 4. We've only ever put 2 people per cabin, and there are 2 cabins on the upper deck as well, which has small windows. And you'll fly into San Diego. We'll offer a birding trip out into some of the key birding areas around San Diego before you board the Searcher. And it won't take long before you start to see your first brown pelicans and a variety of other wildlife too. Like the little Anna's hummingbird, one of the commoner hummingbird species down in Southern California. We then board Searcher and head south, as I say, on an 11-night cruise. Won't take long before you start to see your first cetaceans. The great thing about Searcher, it's got some really great viewing areas for the cetaceans. Everybody's all crowded up front of the boat where you get some of your best views. Here, difficult to tell, is probably a humpback whale that's breached out of the water and landed down with a splash. As we head south, we'll start to see some dolphins. So Pacific white-sided dolphin here is quite commonly seen on this part of the cruise. A very playful cetacean, incredibly fast, and they'll often come in and bow ride around the front of the boat. And the second largest animal on the planet, the magnificent fin whale, is often seen as we cruise south towards Mexico. It's also the fastest of the grey whales, and can reach up to 22 knots, only second in size and bulk to the magnificent blue whale, which hopefully we'll be seeing later on in the cruise. And after clearing customs in Ensenada, our first main stop on the cruise are a couple of several little islands off the coast of the Baja Peninsula called Todos Santos and San Benitos Island. And these offer the opportunity to get off the boat and stretch our legs and explore this amazing desert habitat with the cacti and the other desert adapted species, and a few interesting birds as well. Here there are no trees, so the ospreys nest on the ground. Other interesting birds to look for too. There's northern elephant seals hauled up on the beaches around here. Huge creatures, and really interesting to see. And rarer still is the very rare Guadalupe fur seal, and their main breeding colony are on these islands off of the west coast of the Baja Peninsula. The common sea lion around here is California sea lion, which again you'll see up in San Diego even before leaving the docks. And then from Todos Santos and San Benitos Islands, we head further south to the world famous San Ignacio Lagoon, and this really has to be the highlight of a highlight packed voyage. It is here that the grey whales congregate every winter in the sheltered waters in the lagoon to mate and give birth. And here you can have some of the most intimate, close encounters with cetaceans, these big cetaceans, than anywhere else in the world. So over 20,000, maybe up to 25,000 grey whales now. They've been protected for many years, fortunately. And they spend the summer months up in the Bering Strait between Alaska and Russia, and spend the winter months down in the sheltered warm waters off the coast of the Baja Peninsula. It takes them 2 months to migrate between Baja to Alaska, and it covers over 12,000 miles. The sort of round trip is 12,000 miles, making it one of the longest mammal migrations in the world. And the great thing about San Ignacio is what they call the friendly whales. And you don't really need to go looking for whales here. You go out in your pangas and they will come looking for you. And they're very inquisitive, very friendly. In particular, the mother and calf pairs will actually come up to the pangas. And they thoroughly enjoy interaction between whale and human. So it's probably a unique place. I can't think of anywhere else in the world where a great whale will actually choose to come up to the boat and to look at you as you gaze at them. And sorry, my computer just seems to have frozen for a moment. Try again. There we go. So it's one of the few places anywhere in the world where you can gaze a whale directly in the eye, and it's absolutely, say, an unforgettable, very moving experience for some, especially when you think that when these poor creatures were hunted several centuries ago, the hunters used to call them devilfish, and now these are the most gentle, intelligent, wonderful creatures, and the encounters are absolutely unforgettable. But as well as enjoying the whales on the whale watching trips, we spent nights in San Ignacio, so you've got plenty of time to enjoy the interactions with the greys. We'll head out also to do a bit of bird watching, explore the mangroves. It's a wonderful variety of different wintering wading birds here, and also some migrant birds moving north up into North America. So here we've got a variety of a mixed flock of North American birds. The willet here looks like quite a grey cross between a green shank and a black-tailed godwit. Over on the right, short-billed dowitcher. There's quite a few short-billed dowitchers amongst this flock, and then bottom left, got a marbled godwit with that bicolored pink and black bill. But as well as these, there's a variety of other different species to be seen as well. The beautiful reddish egret is quite common in this area. Yellow-crowned night heron here. And so once we've explored San Ignacio and looked at bird life as well as the whales, we head further south again, out into Magdalena Bay. So there's another great area for whale watching. This is a good area for humpbacks. Humpbacks are one of the commonest species you see on this cruise, and they're one of the most playful whales as well. And you'll, with luck, see them doing a full breach like this, or maybe do some tail lobbing where they stick their tail fluke out the water and smash it on the water's surface. But as well as the greys and humpbacks, we got a chance of seeing a variety of other species as we head south. There are Bruder's whale, minke. There's hopefully common dolphins as well, maybe blue whale on this part of the cruise. The seabirds are also spectacular. Lots and lots of seabirds to enjoy. We've got a black-footed albatross here. There are least storm petrels, Cassin's auklet, pink-footed shearwater, blue-footed and brown boobies. Magnificent frigate birds. They're very characteristic, almost pterodactyl-like silhouette above. And if you're very lucky, maybe red-billed tropic bird. And there are a few. Most of our cruises are lucky enough to see this very, very graceful, very, very beautiful species that occurs regularly, but in fairly small numbers in this region. There will also be the opportunity, if the weather conditions allow, to do a snorkel with whale sharks. It's an extra activity that has to be paid for locally, so we don't include it in the tour price. But the local people will come out, collect you in pangas, take you out on the panga, and say weather conditions permitting, you can snorkel with this magnificent fish, the largest fish in the world. We're hoping as well to run across a super pod of dolphins. These are long-beaked common dolphins, and if you're lucky, you can see pods of several thousand individuals. And as they pass, the sea boils with these huge numbers of cetaceans leaping out the water. Other species to look out for, we've got sperm whale here. We can round the southern tip of the Baja Peninsula eventually and go north into the sheltered waters of the Sea of Cortez. And out here we'll see some hopefully some other species of cetacean as well. So maybe sperm whales. This is a group of sperm whales logging on the surface of the water, relaxing and resting, probably after a deep dive in search of giant squid and other such marine creatures. Orcas are seen on occasion. They are very mobile and they're wanderers, so you need a certain degree of luck to bump into a pod of orcas as we're traveling around. There's also the chance of something a bit rarer, false killer whale, maybe dwarf sperm whale, short fin pilot whales, a range of different species to enjoy. We're in the Sea of Cortez. There'll be the opportunity to go and do some landings on the islands in the sea, to enjoy the scenery and enjoy the cardon cacti forests and the bird life that lives here as well. This is a road runner. Obviously it's not blue and it doesn't go meep meep, but it does run around on the ground. It's actually a large species of ground cuckoo, but they're seen frequently in the desert islands. Cactus wren is another species to look out for. There's also Gila woodpecker, crested caracara, and the little endemic Xanthus hummingbird as well, if you're lucky. Then, normally in the morning you'll do a little walk during the cool of the day, come back onto the boat and have the opportunity to do some snorkeling. You can snorkel with turtles, snorkel with the California sea lions, and then during the rest of the day you'll head out and do more whale watching. And of course, the other big, in more ways than one, species that we want to see on this cruise is the magnificent blue whale, the largest species cetacean, and probably the largest species of animal ever to inhabit the earth. And touch wood, we've never had a trip to date that have missed blue whales, and most groups have fantastic views of these amazing creatures. Here we have a blue surfacing right in front of search. And here we have other calf and surfacing at close range as well. And two of the stats I always remember for blue whales is that their tongue is as big as heavy as a full-grown African elephant, and their heart is as big as a Volkswagen Beetle. So these are absolutely huge, magnificent creatures. And we've had trips where the groups have seen blue whales slide silently underneath the boat in the crystal clear waters of the Sea of Cortez. So it's another great highlight of this trip, and really hoping to get that view of the Boeing 747 wing lifting out the water and slowly sinking beneath the waves. So I will end my piece here with a sunset shot over Baja California. And so thank you very much for listening. If you want more information on any of our Baja cruises, and please let me know. As Sarah said, drop us a question. You can also visit the website as well, and download the itineraries and previous tour reports.